pure grit. It's a soft, light shoe, just enough protection. And I've really started to appreciate how Brooks is widening that toe box.
Definitely wider.
And going with that seamless upper. So lightweight construction, pretty durable, and then the colors pop to me too. So I like to make sure I match.
That toe guard improved too.
The only Hoka road shoes that I've ever run in are the Bondi Bees. And putting these on, I feel like they're a little bit more sturdy than the Bondi Bees were. So I'm excited to see if they continue to feel that way with use and don't get marshmallowy feeling. I really like the Hokas, and the width in the toe box felt sufficient as well. I have gotten blisters in the toes before with those, so excited to give them a whirl.
So they're fairly lightweight.
I love those.
And I am in love with them
So
already.
those were probably the most comfortable shoe I put on my feet in some time. I mean, they were super comfy,
Lightweight.
light. I'm excited to get those on some technical trails because it looks like the tread isn't super.
But it has the non-stick. It doesn't have a huge lug,
Yeah.
but it has a good Vibram.
But when I say that, so the Lightwave TRs had a similar,
Right.
and they were great.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's why I'm
traction.
excited to get those.
They're really low profile and you don't think that they're gonna be great.
Is the drop as high as what it looks like?
It doesn't feel terribly
Doesn't
high.
feel
I'm not exactly sure. I felt like it was nice because I have to be careful. I need a little bit of support on my bottoms because I've had a broken foot. I felt like they weren't too cushiony, but I didn't feel any pain either. So it's
I believe the drop
comfy.
on those is a 4.
Yeah,
It
I
might
was
be
gonna
a
say,
6
I
or
don't
something.
think
It
it's
looks
much.
higher.
For as much cushion as they have, they're very stable.
Right, I felt
So
pretty slow.
You know, interestingly enough, I think a comparable shoe to that is the Salomon XA Elevate. It from a comfort, stability standpoint, they both run a little bit stiff for about 30 miles.
Right.
And then they start to soften up. But Pete, I mean, you've had experience with the XA Elevate. What did you think as far as like, if you were to compare those shoes?
Yeah, I've got about now 200 miles on mine, and I put them on race day for a half marathon, and I was super concerned because it felt bulky and too stable for me. Like a little more minimal shoe. I really enjoyed the Ultra Sense Pro that they had out, and yeah, I've fallen in love with this shoe more as I've beat it up, and it's kind of grown on me. And so now it's, you know, when I go to do a long run, I'm grabbing these right now. So
So what about the Terex Adidas?
They're a decent looking shoe. They're lower profile, I think. They feel pretty firm out of the box, so I'm interested to
Yeah,
give
it's
that
the same
foam.
that I had. They feel stiff at first.
Yeah.
The traction's great.
Yeah.
They feel a little stiff. They're lightweight enough that I'm not super concerned about the weight, but they are stiffer
Yeah.
initially despite the boost. I thought maybe with the boost they'd be a little.
Yeah, I'll be interested to take them out on some longer runs and put some miles on them and see if that boost foam
that's a sturdy shoe.
kicks in. Yeah, it feels solid. So
These
And that upper,
They don't look
you know,
huge.
that upper's got that's good
Yeah,
protection.
they do have
It
Gore-Tex.
seems like a good,
Yeah.
like a more technical, like a scrambly shoe.
Yeah, I would say this
Like
is,
good
you know, the upper is, there's a lot of protection there. It's not soft. Yeah.
I would say in the women's they seem to run a little big. I wear 10.5 in a lot of shoes and they seem almost a half size too big. So they ran a little bit. I don't know if they ran
Could
big
be.
for you.
It's hard to tell from the first impression, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think sometimes with a pointier toe box, some
Especially
shoes
where
seem to
I have
run
a
little
narrow
longer.
foot and they feel wider here, not super secure, but it could just be that they're too big.
Yeah,
So it's kind of hard to say.
Did that lacing bug you all across
I
the,
didn't notice it. I think
It's
it's
just
probably
interesting.
more of a visual thing than
Yeah.
anything.
kind of different?
You know, this Columbia, first impression of this Columbia was surprisingly good. Very soft, like in the insole.
Really?
Yeah, and the midsole seems really soft. It was stable. It seemed fine. I've tested 2 other pair of Columbia over the last couple of years and I can't say I was overly impressed, but I actually thought that this is a big step up for them. that overall, I think it's a good shoe, and I think they're really kind of coming into their own with what they're doing.
What model is this?
I tested one that I think it was this, probably maybe the similar model. I actually really loved the shoe.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago,
It's Transalps.
and that fluid foam was great.
So it's Transalps, Pete.
Transalps FKT too. So it's a little bit lighter version of their Transalps.
It's got a really good tread.
Now we had a Hoka trail shoe. We had the Speedgoat too,
Yeah, I
right?
tried. I tried it. It seems I've had problems in the past, and it's hard to tell. I'm going to need to take it on a longer run where I felt like not as stable as I needed it to be. It didn't seem terribly unstable. It was very cushioned for me personally. It might be too much cushion to a point where I start to feel some numbness in the balls of my feet. But I've heard a lot of really good things from other people who have said this has been a huge improvement to some of the previous models of the Speedgoat. So
I have put a lot of miles on the pair of shoes, on the Speedgoat 2s that I have. They were different to get used to, but they were different to get used to as far as how they looked on my feet. And I've worn Hokas before, but they performed really well, and I've taken them on some real technical stuff, and no blisters, no problems.
Are they
So
stable?
They're stable, yeah.
No.
Cushioned and stable.
I heard that with the original ones, they were.
not quite.
No.
That's why I was.
These guys, the Trail Rocks, just a little bit of mileage in them so far. Definitely, you can feel the trail, and so if you like a more minimalist shoe, I would recommend that. It's a
Four-wheel drop.
most of their shoes are pretty low minimal drop. I haven't looked at the specs on this one, but it definitely felt like more like a 2, no more than 4. It's got some, heel counter stuff here that was going on, but yeah, you definitely are going to react and feel that trail. Real springy midsole. I'm looking forward to getting some miles. It definitely wouldn't be a 100-mile shoe.
Anyway, the Cascadias, as I mentioned before, I really think they've made some improvements since the first 3 to 4 models I really loved, and then they kind of went away from that and went to a more narrow toe box. I've liked where they've come back.
Okay, so first impressions overall seem to be pretty positive across the board for a lot of the shoes in different ways based on how we're going to use them. What we're really looking for in the full review is how did they perform over time. At trail and ultra running, we really focus on trying to get as many miles out of the shoes as we can, anywhere between 1 and 200 miles, if possible, to really be able to look at how do they wear, how do they break down over time, how do they perform in different trail conditions. And so the next step from this will be is how many miles can we put on them?
Yeah.
And I think with that, it'll all come around in another 4 to 5 weeks. So thanks, everybody.